Hey Nappers, it's me, Wild Neptune, and in this epic 10-minute video, we're gonna go over some exciting news, as in the collab, what the new Emerald 5 star is gonna be in the Mr. Rotation, and some other big news I wasn't quite expecting. Anyway, before that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and catch me at Twitch at twitch.tv/WildNeptune. Let's go. Okay, let's start off with the update notice here. So the collab does start tomorrow. It is going to be for 3 weeks, it looks like here. Here's this splash art here, which is very nice. The side story, Solar Cook-Off. So here the units here, Rimuru, Milam, Shuna, and what is this? Okay, and so yeah, 3 weeks here. So yeah, basic side story affair, and there is a cooking stage. Okay, well we'll see what this is later on. Wait, it's like it's like if we tap the screen. Jesus Christ. So here's a slime here. Basic stuff you can get from the side story, and some more rewards here. Very nice. And you get Shuna from the side story and login rewards, stuff like that. We'll go over all the heroes later on. So let's go over to the second part here. And okay, the balance updates. Yes, we know that's coming here. And here is the Flay's special side story, Solid Cook of C.L. Charlie, the owner of Lemaire and the Council's Low is restored. Okay. Alright, there's also to be a Charlotte banner. Yeah, also the new Light Expo boss. I'll have a video on this after it comes out at the start of the month, after I do it a few times just to see how it is. The rotation is going to be Brutal Ferris, which is fire, right? The Blooming Snaglet, which is grass, and Pain Pursuer Morai, which is the Katie's, with the new one, the Katie's one. And Expo rewards are so same thing for the other ones, only instead of the other Reforge, you get the Katie's Reforge, and Katie's is a really big hunt right now, so a lot of people have started doing it. And Pen and Revenge set gems, which are really nice. Also, oh yeah, I forgot about this too. Also, because it's a new Expo, that means new Dagger Sakar. So if you are really pushing for that high score, want that sweet benefit stones here, or these nice powder, go for this. Those will be a coin shop. So Covenant Coins, Tamarind Charles, Remnant Violet, and Bride Witch Assyria for the Moonlight. Okay, this is one of the bigger changes now they're doing, is that there's going to be additional rate on information on probabilities. So right here, so let's just summon probabilities. So before we only knew that every 5-star hero and artifact had a chance to repeat equally, right? But this here, we know that heroes are 2%, well, 5 stars are 2%, 4 stars 3.7, and 3 stars are 41.3. There's also a secret shop drop rate. So heroes are about 30, equipment is about 50, and currency is 20. Remember, currency also includes the friendship bookmarks, right? So keep that in mind. I can't see, you know, what the mystics and the covenant bookmarks are, but this is definitely gonna make it so that we know for sure in how many sky stones you should get something like a mystic medal, right? So pets too are being shown here. So depends on the pet. Also percentage for the skills each one has. So if you ever wondered why you would not get a certain pet skill, well, you'll be able to see right now. Also here, skills that are granted randomly with no skills have been selected will be inherited, will appear at this. So the when you do this here, the randomness is the same as this randomness here, right? Also, equipment substat roll. So okay, we'll click on this here. Also, there's a packs. Also, the FCC skin is coming out for RTA if you're Masters or above, so make sure you try to get that. Okay, let's go over this. The substat, yes. So we know all about this here and how substats work. Okay. Substat addition probability according to equipment part. So when a subset is added through equipment enhancement, it is done with a 1 divided by n probability. N equals to the number of subsets not yet applied to equipment. So wait a minute. So okay, so this is when it is like an epic, when it's not an epic, when it's a heroic or below. I don't really know what this means. I'm looking at the chart. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So for 88, subset increased probability when 88 when enhanced. So increased amount. Okay. Okay. This is flat attack. I was wondering why this is so high. It gets this flat attack. Let's go attack percentage here. So, okay. So everything is actually equal here until you get to the really bottom, right? I guess the top here too. This is also notable that we also know now what the max and min rolls are. 4 pieces of gear. So everything looks equal. Flat health, health percentage, speed. Okay, so here 5 speed for a epic is, at least for 88, is a little bit under 0.5%. Right? Everything else looks equal here. So this is 7285. Again, equal probabilities across the board. For 85 though, to get 5 speed, it is about a third upper percentage. Okay, so and 2, 3, and 4 are all basically almost 0, right? And 2, 3, 4 are all equal, right? And then 70, 58 to 71, I mean, that doesn't really matter that much. So here's some exceptions. Right? The equipment substack probability for Arena level 88 is the same as 72 to 85. So this is something that we've known for a very long time, just based on testing. The 88 initial clear rewards for Hell Lab is the same too. The 88 Heroes booth from Abyss 96. So the speed substats on the 88 gear is based on 72 to 85, but everything else is 88, right? Probabilities. And also, this will be all be available in-game, but, wow, okay, I'm surprised that they put this out, because I thought they would never do this. I wonder if they had to do it. As I would not be surprised if they had to do this as part of the way to get the collab. That is a theory I have, but you know, it is good that it's out here. Now everybody knows. Also, there's some special bonus stuff that is happening here. It is a 100k YouTube subscription bonus here. So 10 leaves and 1 million gold for everybody as long as you do this little thing here. And it's gonna be a coupon. So they never use these, right? These are really rare. So we type in this code into the coupon, Epic7 YouTube 100k, get 10 leaves, 1 million gold. And how you do it here is if you're on Android, you will click this here, go to coupon, and just type it in. If you're on iOS, because iOS doesn't allow in-game code entry for, I don't know why, there is a link you can hit, right, on the coupon page and send you to a website where you can put this information in here to also get the rewards, right? And you can find your membership number by going to menu, standard account management to find that. Your nicknames, obviously whatever your name is, your server, and then the code, which we have established is Epic7 YouTube 100k. So, really nice there. There's also going to be a free Unequipped event. So, for the weekend, because it is the monthly one that we're going to get. This is the check-in event here. So you are getting 1 million gold, 20 bookmarks, Phantasma, Cattle Selection Chest, 2 Molas, the Artifact, and the Shuna. Also 80 energy every day you check in. Alright, now we have Shuna. She's going to be the free hero. She's a Fire Soul Weaver. See her stats here. She has okay health. Her speed is decent for a Soul Weaver. Really good defense there. Her ER is especially high. 45% after her imprints and her base. So, let's keep going. Her skill 1, Magical Explosion, requires 1 focus, so she's a focus-based hero. Attacks the enemy by debilitating magicals and recovers health of the caster, so not of an ally, of herself. Damage dealt and amount recovered because proportional to the caster's max health, so standard fare. Her soul burn is 20 souls for an extra turn. Her S2, Blooming Lotus, acquires 3 focus. It's on a 5-4 turn cooldown after Molas, and dispels 2 debuffs of all allies, so it's a 2 debuff cleanse, and redistributes health of all allies to be equal before granting a berry for 3 turns. So like SSA Katie's, only for everybody. And the berry for 3 turns, I don't know how good that is compared to say 2 turns, because a lot of the times you don't actually keep the whole barrier for 2 turns anyway. So we'll see about this. But barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's max health, which is really nice because that means you can protect those lower HP allies a little bit better. And finally, her S3, Sleeping Spell. It is a 5 focus consume, so that's the max focus. Dispels 2 debuffs from all allies. Dispels 2 buffs from all enemies with fluttering flower petals before a 50% chance, 85 with molas, to put them to sleep for 2 turns. So a 2-turn AoE sleep is almost died there. Pretty strong, right? Especially on a 2 buff dispel. That means you get rid of immunity and another buff, right? Now, it is a focus move, and that means that you can't use it right away, which definitely hurts her a little bit. So you have to use your S2 and your S1 twice before you can use this. So it is kind of slow. I would say. It has no cooldown, though. Just the built-in focus, so it's like a Ravi S3. So, I can see her being run maybe on a counter set now. Like ER counter, and you're just trying to get those S1s off to try to keep her healed up and everything like that. It's... She has no built-in, like, CR, though, and her... She is, like, not the slowest in the world, like, for a Soul Weaver, but, like, in the grand scheme of things, she is kind of slow. So, I don't know if she can cycle enough to really do that, especially when her S2 is also on a pretty long cooldown. It seems like she might... Oh, the artifact too. We'll get to that. If you can get this off, it will have a high impact if you're drafting in a way that you can take advantage of it. So, a lot of, like, single target damage dealers. And because of that, I kind of feel like she's meant to be a free-to-play answer to AOL. Because, right now, the answers to AOL that they're coming out with, like ML Cowrick, is an ML 5-star, right? And not everybody has him. In fact, a lot of people I know skipped him. So, because of her ER here, and the fact that she has a 2 debuff dispel, and the barrier, and everything like that, also that this doesn't do any damage, which means I believe it doesn't proc AOL's passive, and the fact that a lot of people, when they fight AOL, they bring single target damage dealers against her to avoid a passive too. I feel like that's what she's made for. Now, is she going to be especially like good in this role? I'm not sure. It really depends on how much ER you can pack in, because some AOLs, they have like a ton of ER. Like, I would say you need at least 250, right? So 45, so 205 after the everything here is, I think it's doable, right? It's not like easy, right? But I definitely think that's reachable for at least players that push it into like champion, right? In RTA. And finally, we have the artifact here. Flawless Garment. So, at max level, it increases ER by 20%. Okay, that's good. That means the bow is 20% there. Also increases effectiveness for 50% at the end of the caster's turn. And it stacks 3 times. So this is really interesting. This is, I believe, this is, I want to say it's only kind of good on her for the 45% effectiveness, but I can just think of like Maid Chloe memes using this, where she has 45 bonus effectiveness for her stuns, right? This is okay, right? It's a free artifact. If you really want the ER, I think the best one is the Amelia's artifact from the ReZero collab. That one's really strong right now. But if you don't have that, this is okay, right? I would say Shamadra's might be a little bit better too. But because you might not even use the S3 until you like a little bit into Frenzy anyway, you know, it isn't awful, right? I would probably err more on like survivability or extra healing versus this, but you know. Alright, now go over Rimuru. He's going to be a limited hero coming out after the maintenance, so not too long from now. Let's go over him quickly. He's a Earth Warrior with good stats all around, actually. So, nice spread here. And ER release, attack, self-imprint, his skill 1. Okay, shall I get started? I'd say a single target attack here. And grants him a random buff for a turn. So his random buff can be immunity, increased trans resistance, increased attack, and increased ER. So basic S1 there. His S2 is a passive. So analyze and assess. After attacking an enemy with a non-basic skill, so his S3, which we'll go over in a little bit, or his passive trigger here, copies 2 buffs from the target when the target is buffed, regardless of whether the attack hits, and grants the effects to all allies. So this means that if you hit, say, a Maid Chloe buffed ally of enemy, you give your team attack buff and revive, which is pretty good. If you attack like a Remnant Violet, you get the evasion buff on your whole team, which is kind of, you know, that sounds pretty nuts. It's not applied to undispellable buffs, so no copying things like perception, right? When an ally is attacked by a buffed enemy, activates Be Ready against the attacker. Can only be activated once every 3 turns. So, this means that this will trigger his trigger Be Ready here, which is an attack. It increases his CR by 30%, and it will also buff your allies because when this triggers, you're being hit by somebody who has buffs, which means that you will get their buffs too, right? Now, it is important too that since this is a counter, I believe that things like can't be counterattacks, like landing S3, will bypass this, unfortunately. So that's something you have to consider. But all in all, this is really strong. Good against like anti-AoE, and good against good against AoE, good against buffs. So let's move on to his S3, which is Devour with Black Flame. It's a 4-turn with Molas. The soul burn is 10 for a decreased cooldown with 2 turns. Attacks the enemy with a Black Flame, and a successful attack will inflict, so it's a single target, 5,000 additional fixed damage to the target. Fixed damage increases proportional to the number of buffs granted to all allies, up to 10k fixed. When the target is buffed, decrease defense of all enemies in 2 turns. Unaffected by ER. So, unaffected by elemental disadvantage, not ER. Unaffected by ER would be busted. Unaffected by elemental disadvantage is already it's already really strong, right? This is pretty good. So, 5k fixed damage right off the bat is pretty high, right? And 10k by the time in a fight where you will actually have this is basically a one-shot against, I would say, nearly every single hero in the game, right? Because you're probably doing 10, like, unless his base damage is really low, 10k is like a lot of damage, plus the additional damage he's doing normally, and the, you know, frenzy bonuses in RTA, right? Now, because his fixed damage, though, you might not even build him high damage, right? You might just rely on the fixed damage here, and just increase his bulk, maybe increase his speed, his utility, right? Because he definitely seems like a utility hero overall, but, you know, utility with damage is pretty strong. Now, what do I think he'd be used for? Before that, let's go with the the Shuna, the artifact here, anti-magic mask. So at the start of the turn, has a 100% chance to grant a random buff to the caster for 2 turns. So immunity, increase attack, increase defense, crit damage, increase speed. This is, so all these buffs are really good, right? Especially because they're for 2 turns too. Because he is a warrior that might not do a ton of damage, because things like Sigurds, well, I believe it doesn't work with additional damage, only the initial damage, right? He might not run that, right? And this can definitely help him overall, right? But I'll have to see. Like, I don't know how good this will be. It's also 2 turns though, so he'll keep the last buff, and he'll keep getting more and more buffs every turn, right? So definitely a artifact that could snowball a little bit. So anyway, obviously he's really good against Maid, like I said before, good against like really any enemy that buffs is he's good against that, right? And his only weakness is that he can be played around a little bit, I would say. So maybe you can do something like, if you have a immunity buff at the start, right? Sorry, if the enemy has an immunity buff at the start, like an FCC, I guess a barrier too, right? And the FCC S3s right off the bat, then Rimuru will be forced to activate the S2 here and copy the immunity buff and the barrier, and his team probably already has immunity anyway, right? So all they get is a barrier, and you kind of just used up this right here, and then they can kind of play around the S3, I guess. So that is something that, you know, maybe a little bit of counterplay right there. This definitely seems pretty good though, right? Probably really dangerous against squishies, and they decrease defense with 2 turns for all enemies. And the only trigger is that the target is buffed. And let's face it here, targets are buffed these days all the time. It is definitely a buff-heavy meta. He's definitely a meta call type hero. Finally, we have Milam. And Milam is coming out next week, so a week from now. And she's a fire mage. So her stats here, this attack is really high. Defense is not bad. Speed is pretty good. Health is non-existent, but you know, she has the crit chance here and attack concentration, so let's see what she does. Skill 1, Dragon Dive. She's another focused hero. So the Soul Burn is an extra turn, attacks the enemy, recovering health, partial damage dealt before increasing attack for 1 turn. So the attack happens before the attack increase. Her S2, Dragon Eye or Milam Eye, at the start of the battle and at the end of the turn, has a 70%, so 100% chance with the Molas to grant Dragon Eye to the caster for 1 turn. When the caster is granted Dragon Eye, at the start of the turn, dispels stealth from all enemies, ignores ER. When focus is full after attacking, consumes all focus to activate Dragon Buster. So this is a passive skill. Dragon Buster. Attacks all enemies with overwhelming mana, removing 10 souls. And Milam Eye here is increases hit chance and evasion by 20%. Cannot be dispelled. So basically, as long as you have this maxed out, she will always have 20 bonus 20 bonus evasion and 20 bonus hit chance because it can't be dispelled, right? I guess that always says you can still give her unbuffable. Does it work like? Let me think here. So, and also it's also at the yes. So like if you give her a 2-turn unbuffable, I believe maybe even 1 turn works too. But yeah, if you give her unbuffable, she won't get the buff obviously. But besides that, she will basically always have this, and a 10 soul removal is also pretty good. Okay, obviously the dispel stealth from all enemies is the big one. It doesn't work on Spectre stealth because that stealth is special, but on every other one, like Landy, yes. So that's the big thing here, getting rid of guiding light stealth. Her S3, Dragon Fear, 4 turns with the Molas, to focus acquisition, releases mana to attack the enemy, inflicting extinction when the enemy is defeated. Increases evasion for 3 turns. Oh my god. When the caster is not an elite boss monster, damage chain effects are... Okay. Wow. So first off, extinction. We haven't had an extinction unit for a long time. And we saw her attack, right? She's gonna probably do a ton of damage here, especially since that she gives herself an attack buff with the S1, and she can soul burn this for an extra turn right away. So she can S1 soul burn with attack buff, and then go right into the S3, which is really good. The fact that it increases her evasion for 3 turns too is like nuts, I think. It also ignores damage sharing effects, which means that things like Aureus, nope, doesn't matter. It almost seems like she is a better, I don't know what better, but like, she reminds me a lot of top model Luluka. Only with like some more utility with the stealth dispel, because remember that this happens at the start of the battle. So on the first turn, she's gonna dispel the stealth from Landy and be able to kill her right off the bat. So let's go over artifact first though. When the caster suffers a non-critical hit, has a 30% chance to counterattack. That's pretty good. So this is really only good for her, right? And it's only good because of the evasion. right? So she has evasion, you miss on her, and guess what? She counterattacks sometimes. Now, is this worth it to be used? I don't know. If this is a little bit too gimmicky for her. Overall, if something more consistent would be better. This is something that'll have to be tested, honestly. But my god. Now, let's go over some use cases here. Anti-landing, right? That's really all I think I have to say about this. The fact that she destroys landing. Not only she's a fire type, so elemental advantage, but the fact that she can basically just one-shot her, and then because the extinction, you never have to deal with her again for that fight, is really strong. Other than that, there are not that many other stealth heroes, besides Spectre, but she doesn't work against Spectre, in the game that are being used consistently right now. Her other things too, though, is her extinction in general could be really strong against things like Maid Chloe, even stuff in like A. Ravi, right? This could be decent against too. So if you're running into just like a lot of standard teams, like the Maid Landy +2 teams, typically don't have any units that are that fast. So getting the first turn from her might not be that hard, right? And the fact that the S3 has damage sharing ignorance is also really, really good. I definitely see her being used quite a bit. Now, keep in mind that since she's releasing next week, World Arena will be ending like really shortly after she's coming out, so a couple of days, but she will be available for it for like the last, couple days of the season. Alright, and I'll give a brief thoughts on Moonlight Celine, or Spirit Light Celine, who's coming 11/11 in the Mystic rotation with BBK. So wondering who that was, it wasn't Lilius, it wasn't a new hero, it was, the new episode hero. It is Spirit Eye Celine. So, look at her and all her personality and everything like that. But let's go over her skills quickly. Her S1 Mighty Strike attacks enemies with a shape. When this skill is used, if it was not triggered by a dual attack, has a 35% chance to activate Nimble Sword instead of Mighty Strike. So, Nimble Sword dispels 1 debuff from the caster before swiftly attacking. Penetrates by 35%. When the caster is possessed, effect chance is doubled. This skill does not trigger a dual attack. So, Soul Burn for an extra turn. Oh, wait. Here are stats, by the way. I don't know why that was the first one there, but... So, her stats are... 122 speed is really fast. Crit chance is also really good. Good attack overall, so yep. Also crit chance imprint. Her skill 2, Sixth Sense. Damage suffered does not exceed 70% of max health, so that's 7, 10... Wait a minute. Nine. So, okay, 51%, 51. So, just like T-Cern. Decreases skill cooldown by 1 turn when somebody dies. And acquires 5 souls. Okay. Only activated once per turn upon a hero's death. So. And the S3 is Spirit Gate Burning Possession. 6 turns or 5 with the Mola. Opens the Gate of the Spirit, dispelling all debuffs from the caster, making the caster possessed for 3 turns. Revives all dead allies for granting immortality to all allies for 1 turn. And Possession. Counterattacks when suffering a critical hit. When attacking, absorbs some of the damage dealt as health. Possession cannot be dispelled. Okay. So... I'm looking over her skills here, and... she seems to be a... anti-cleave? I would say. Immortality is the buff where you cannot be dealt lethal damage. So it's Kairon's, Melissa's, right? It can be dispelled, obviously, and you still take damage, but it's you can't die as long as it's active for that, as long as you haven't gone yet. Okay, so she definitely seems to be an anti-cleave style unit where you will go after the initiator, I guess, because she can't die in one attack. This means that the enemy has to invest like the soul burn into her 2 times, which can be pretty strong. And if you have a barrier on your team, that means that she probably will not die anyway. Now, she doesn't get the push or the stealth like T-Surin does, but you know, I think that's an okay trade-off. Right now, T-Surin doesn't see that much play. She has some tech usage in some cases, so we'll have to see about this. But the fact that she revives all dead allies and grants them immortality for 1 turn, if she gets this off against Cleave, what can Cleave do, right? I guess there are a lot of units in Cleave that have dispels, but if you just get rid of those, that's pretty strong, right? So I'll have more thoughts on this as you get closer to it coming out, but that's just my initial opinion on it. So lastly, I do want to talk about Charlotte and Apoc Ravi a tiny bit here, because this is kind of important. Charlotte right now is pretty strong. She has kind of fallen off a tiny bit because she's really bad against AOL. But other than that, she's definitely proven to be a pretty strong force in the meta. But because it is collab, it's kind of hard to pull her, especially with how nuts both Rimuru and Milam look, because both of their kits are really strong against things that are currently in the meta right now. Now, is Charlotte still really strong? Yes. And if you have enough resources to pull on Charlotte and those 2 heroes too, you don't need me telling you what to pull on, right? This video isn't for you. So but despite the fact that she's really, really good, unfortunately, you probably have to pass on her. Now for Apoc Ravi here, who is the current Mystic hero. This one's harder because we don't know how strong ML Celine is gonna be, and I've only done an initial opinion on her, so I haven't thought on fully on the strength of her kit. Right now, A Ravi is the strongest bruiser hero in the game, in my opinion. Really hard to kill. Has strong utility. S3 when it revs up can destroy almost any target. Honestly, just really, she's such a safe first pick into almost any composition you're finding, right? Because of her safeness and the fact that she's good almost all the time, I would side on pulling her over ML Celine, right? Now, this could be wrong, but I don't think it's gonna be. I'm pretty sure A Ravi is overall gonna be the better here. Before I go, they had mentioned that they are considering a ML4 pity system, and that there will be a special Judge Heisei Mystic rotation that is coming out. I believe they said November 3rd. So that will be next week. I believe this is going to be in conjunction with the other Mystic banners. So you have two of them in the going at once for a little bit, right? This is for that if you want her because there's a skin, right? Should you pull on her? Probably not, because she hasn't been buffed, unfortunately. But, you know, if you already have all the other ones and you're gonna, don't care about Celine, maybe. I honestly probably would not recommend it. But anyway, that's all there is. Thanks for watching. Anyway, it's been a good one. Nep out.